CVT lesson of Pearl Jam, a song called Porch, and took this from the MTV Unplugged. You want to tune standard for this? I'm using my electric. It's semi-unplugged, man, because we're going clean channel. I just don't have my acoustic right now. And I'm glad you gave me kind of the liberty like you did on the last CVT lesson. You basically wanted this song something that you can play on your acoustic, and you left me the freedom, particularly during that big jam section that they're doing from like 1:04 to up into the 4 minutes or something. So I came up with the A section for the jam and a B section, something that won't be overkill, because like you said, what are you supposed to do, man, if it's just you playing the acoustic? So I think this fits really nicely the way it's blended in, and it's just a way to change the rhythm, because it's got a lot of repetition going on in it. So it'll change up that rhythm a little bit. Rather than exclude the jam, I was almost going to exclude that, and I just was thinking about it, what could fit back in there. So I touched off some of the chordings, some of the chordings that were going on behind the jam. And instead of speeding it up and getting all hectic with it, just to keep it flowing and leaving some good melodic content. So everything's notated. You know how the CVT, this is your second one you've had done. So let's jump in, and when we get to the jam part, I'll kind of explain some stuff that I was thinking for that. Let's lower this down. So this style, what's going on in here, it's not a super articulated thing. There's some parts that I don't want you to have to overanalyze, if you follow what I'm saying. You'll see. Let me play through the parts. The first thing that comes up at about 5 seconds is this little intro. I made it a little fuller for you, and it would just be. Let me run through that and the main part for you. Let's try it again. And it's just kind of like, I don't know if I want to say funky, but you kind of want to make sure your chords are landing in the right spot rhythmically, and the key elements that come into play, because that part repeats a lot of times. So the way to intro it's going to be a G major. I went ahead and did the 4-finger version, which I don't know, 50% of the time people do this version, and the other they do like that. 3, 2, open, open, 3B, 3E. So we got 2E, 1A, open D and G, 3B, 3E. And then for the strum pattern, and you can alter these. Is it John? I'm forgetting the name, dude. I think it is. But down, up, up. Now it's a pretty fast song. I haven't heard you play, so I don't know if you're going to slow it down or keep it at this tempo. But down, up, up. Basically, your rhythm is. That's just to get it started. Once it starts, we're going to move into A major. So we have. So the last thing you heard was part of section 1, which is going to be played 7 times. This is 7 seconds to 18 seconds in the song, and it's open A, 2nd fret on the D and G. I would just bar it, and you're going to end up strumming down, but you're coming off the up on the G major, right? So get used to that as a subgroup, which is connecting intro with the first section of the song. Taking my thumb, muting the low E if that's an issue. Sometimes people just include the low E in it. I wouldn't, though, because I think the root should stick with that A. So if you're not used to doing that, you're going to want to work on taking your thumb, not pushing it down, but just holding it, right over the string. You should just barely feel the low E, and it's muted. You're not going to hear that. You're going to hear the notes of the chord. All right, so after you strum the A once, here's another thing. Now that we're digging into the meat of this, open A, 2D, 2G. If you end up hitting the 2nd fret off the B string, that's a C sharp. That's part of the A major chord, right? It's not the end of the world, and I don't want you to have to overanalyze that. One guitar player, Pearl Jam has 2 guitar players, so one's kind of changing and doing some fuller chords with extra notes in them. So this would fit totally fine. Just don't beat yourself up if you're like, man, I keep landing the C sharp. That's part of the or the A major chord anyways. But initially when it starts, you're hearing A, E, A. Alright, so A. Fret hand mute. Take these fingers. First of all, relieve the pressure off the A chord a little. Drop these down over the strings up top, and you'll see an X on your tabs. It's just for fret hand muting. And that's another part you don't have to overanalyze. You wouldn't want to go and hit all 6. You're going for the effect of that mute. It's part of the feel that's created with this type of acoustic strumming. So you see how you can piece together these subgroups by adding one new element at a time. That's totally cool. So this part would be a C root. You're going to go middle finger, 3A. And this isn't consistent. Sometimes he's playing just that. Other times I'm hearing an open G with it, with a muted D. Now when you set this down, the natural angle of that middle finger is probably muting the D anyways, which is cool. That's what you want. So whether you hit it as a single or as the little fuller, if you can do it that way, but that's up to you. You're going to end up doing 3 ups. Oops. If you aim for the A and you wind up hitting the muted D and the G, cool. But I think if you aim for the A, D, and G, you're going to run the risk of hitting a B string, and you don't want that. I did that once. That's going to throw everything off. So 3 ups, and then first finger, 2nd fret on the A. And also I'm muting the underneath that low E with the middle. You'll pick that. It's a B note. Down. Pull off, which means your left hand or your fret hand is creating the open A. The picked 2nd fret and snap. Let it snap off the fingertip because you want a loud open A. Since we're not picking it, it needs to be made loud through your technique. In this case, a pull off. So we have, and I catch it on the D string. That's a good way to avoid going and hitting a bunch of other strings. So, and then go down up on the A. Important that you alternate strum that, because if not, you're going to be chopping into it and it won't sound right. So slow down. That's the section. Section 1 is, that's going to go 7 times. If you put the intro on it, it sounds like this. Up, 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 down, pull, down, up. Okay, so try that, play it slow. Try to speed it up gradually to moderate tempo, and then eventually the goal, which is the tempo that you're going to play it in. Like I said, I haven't heard you play yet, so I don't know how this is going to be as far as difficulty when you try it. So 7 times of that. Then we got section 1B, which is just a way that they're exiting this section to move into section 2. And what it is the same chord, the open A, 2D, 2G. I'm muting that low E there, but you're going to go down, up, times 4. So it's 16 times. As a matter of fact, it's called a 16th note strum pattern. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 16 times. I darkened the first downstroke or down strum of each 4 in your tabs, because if you have trouble rhythmically, because nothing's changing here, it's all done here, you can put a little harder of an accent or strum a little harder on the ones that are highlighted for you. Like a train coming at you. And it actually will sound cool in context with this song. So let's do a couple of section 1s leading into that so you can see what I'm talking about. It's like a 2-second part. So Boom. Done with that. That leads into section 2. I hope you're comfortable with bar chords, because that's what you're going to be using through all these. Of course, these can be altered to open positions, but I'm going to assume that you can do bar chords. Cool thing is, if you can do the bar chords, the form isn't going to change at all. Just the placement, the start note of each fret, which changes the chord name. So it's starting with the G major, and like I said, there's 2 guitar players. One's doing one thing, one's doing the other. At the end, we're going to end up doing the other. You'll see what I mean by that. So bar everything on fret 3 with your first finger and let it go off the side of a little. You don't have to go flat like that. However you can get it to where you're covering all those. Play an E major shape in front of that. So 3rd finger 5A, 4th finger 5D, middle finger 4G. Check all of them as an arpeggio, which is just picking the notes. If they're all 6 clear, you're good to go. Here's the strum pattern for this, and this can be altered a little bit too. I gave you the overall strum pattern of what they're doing. It'll go like this. Let me run through the whole progression. It'll go. So they're all the same strum pattern except the final chord, which is C major. He changes up the strum and he kind of follows a few of the drum riffs, believe it or not. Da 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 da, or da 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 da. You'll see what I mean. So once this is clear, we can focus on your strum, which is going to be down, down, up, up, down, down, up. Now the part that I was worried that might be a little tricky for you is that last 2 that I did, because he's doing a triplet and landing the end of that triplet on the next chord, which would be, it's a quick change. Down, down, up, up, down, down, up, change. If that strum is too tough, like I don't know if you got a gig coming up where you're playing this, you can just go down, down, up, down, up, and then use that for each chord. That's a real common strum pattern. Down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. You use that over each chord. But for the sake of this lesson, I'll show you. You've already got the 2 options now, so we're going to stick with the tabs on this. Down, down, up, down, down, up, change. When you change, you're moving the G major a whole step sharp to an A major. So everything moves up 2 frets. 5, 7, 7, 6, 5, 5. Do the exact same strum. That transfers into A sharp or B flat major. Take everything, move it 1 fret higher. 6, 8, 8, 7, 6, 6. Same strum, move it back to the A. Down, down, up, down, down, up. Right back to the beginning. G, A sharp, or down, down, up, down, down, up. Into C major, which would be a whole step higher from there. 8, 10, 10, 9, 8, 8. Here's where the strum changes. If you listen to the unplugged version, you'll hear it. It'll if you're struggling with the beat, he's kind of hitting with the drums, like I said. Down, 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 up, down, up. And if that drives you crazy, you can always go. You can just keep the same strum and keep it consistent. Doesn't matter, either way is cool. Okay, so now we're going to go to page 2. You're going to go back to section 1 7 times. That's 34 seconds to 51 seconds. Section 1B 1 time. That's 52 to 53 seconds. Basically, you've just repeated the beginning with the exception of the G. We're not doing that again. And then section 3 comes in, and basically this is the same as section 2, but he strums it different this time. And rather than, I just figured because there's not a lot of parts here, why not give you what they're strumming? Even though the chords haven't changed, the strum is. That'll keep it a little more interesting on your end when you're playing it. So you'll know all these chords already, starting with the G major bar. Here's the strum though, how it's changed, just easier. I think it's easier, you don't have that quick thing at the end. Down, up, down, up, down, up. Down, up, down, up, down, up. Do Do that over the A major, the A sharp major, back to the A major, back to the G, to the A, to the A sharp, and then the C major. You'll see double dots in your tabs. Double dots means repeat everything in between those, which means the second half of section 3 is going to repeat three. You're going to do it 3 times total. In other words, G, A sharp, and C. Do it again, G, A sharp, and C. And the third time, I notated in your tabs, third time no star. Basically, you'll stop and let it ring at the C major. You'll just strum it once. So this would be your third time. Just let it ring. That's where the jam comes in. And here's what I put behind that. Jam rhythm number 1. And you can let this ring as long as you want, especially if it's just you playing it. There's no vocals, there's nothing else behind it, so it's up to you. Start with E minor. We're just going to go 2A, 2D, first and second finger. We'll just stick with the standard strum one I talked about earlier, which is down, down, up. Let me play it through so you can hear it. I got two sections of this stuff. So you're starting with E minor, down, down, up, down, up. Then go 5A, third finger, 4D, middle finger, 3B, first finger. And try to mute the low E so you don't hear that. Same strum, down, down, up, down, up. Then go 2A, first finger, 4D, pinky, 3B, middle finger. If this bothers you, or if it's taking you too long to transition it, just take it off and play it as that. Same strum, down, down, up, down, up, into C add 9, which is 3A, middle, 2D, index, 3B, third, 3E, fourth finger. You probably know this chord. Try to mute the low E. Same strum. Do that 4 or 8 times. It's up to you. I even wrote that down. Coming out of that, go into jam rhythm number 2, which kind of emulates a thing they're doing, which would be this. Let's see. Do that as many times as you want, but bar the 7th fret, strings 5 through 1. Go 7 or 9D, third finger, 9G, pinky. Strum all 6. Strum them again. Strum it up. You'll lift your pinky off to where it's catching the 7. And then do another up. Drop the pinky back down. Lift it off again. So it's... And you can change whether I'm showing a down or up. Go with what you're feeling, but try to make the changes in the same spot. That's the only melody changing in that part. Okay, section 4. I thought this was pretty cool sounding. Taking the G major, 3-2, open, open, 3-3. This actually would fit over section 2 and 3. So I think this is what the other guitar player was doing, but we weren't working on that part. At the end, it sounds like they're both doing it. So we'll use the standard strum of down, down, up, down, up. Let me run through it so you can hear it. So down, down, up, down, up. Move that whole chord 2 frets higher, 5, 4, 0, 0, 5, 5, same strum. Move that whole chord a half step sharp, 6, 5, open, open, 6, 6. And end it a whole step higher at 8, 7, open, open, 8, 8. Do that as many times as you want, but when you finish, strum a G major. So you can ride it out as long as you want. If you have any questions, man, you have my cell, so text me. I'm curious, you know, I want to, actually it'd be cool if I can kind of hear where you're at, even if it's audio. If you need any added suggestions, hit me up. If these bar chords are too tough, I'll send you some alternate open position chords you can do in place of them. But if you can't do bars, you're going to want to learn them anyways. So, but if you got a gig coming up and you need it quick, hit me up.